For decades, corporate leadership was defined by a highly mechanical checklist of measurable tasks. You set the direction, aligned the team, managed resources, and resolved conflicts. It was reliable, routine, and exclusively human. But step into a modern office today, and that checklist is quietly being outsourced. Workforce analytics platforms can now flag the risk of an employee leaving months before a human manager even senses a shift in mood. Need to evaluate your team? Software now scans digital behavior and output to write comprehensive performance reviews, removing human bias from the equation. Language models are stepping in to synthesize hours of meetings, instantly redistribute project resources, and draft internal communications without ego or fatigue. So, if being a leader is just the sum of these administrative tasks, a very uncomfortable question arises. When the machines can do the managing, what exactly is the human leader supposed to do? The easiest corporate coping mechanism is the assumption that managers will simply evolve into AI supervisors. They will sit back, review the algorithm's recommendations, and click approve. That idea is comfortable, but it reduces the concept of leadership to a mere quality control bottleneck. Think about the actual mechanics of that delegation. If a recruitment tool filters the candidates and a manager only interviews the software's top picks, the human isn't making the decision. The machine is dictating the company's definition of talent. Confusing the execution of a function with the actual presence of a leader guarantees the eventual replacement of the human manager. If your entire job is to rubber stamp the outputs of a system, you are already well on your way to being replaced by one. To survive this transition, we have to separate function from presence. Function is knowing what to do. True presence is creating the context that makes a team care about doing it. In 2025, researchers at the MIT Sloan Management Review analyzed high-performing teams navigating severe digital transformations. They found that the groups thriving under pressure weren't the ones with the most advanced software. The most resilient teams were led by people clearly articulating the reasons behind a change and maintain a strict behavioral coherence between what they said and what they actually did. An algorithm is brilliant at plotting the most efficient path forward, but it is completely incapable of looking a human being in the eye and explaining why the journey is worth taking. According to Gallup data, only 23% of global workers are actively engaged. But within that small fraction, one variable dominates. The direct human relationship with a boss remains the strongest predictor of whether a team cares or simply clocks in. Yet, as companies automate everything from onboarding to performance reviews, they systematically eliminate the informal spaces where that trust is built. The impromptu lunch, the quick conversation in the hallway before a meeting. Process optimization treats these moments as highly inefficient noise. For a healthy team, they are the vital signal. Research from the Wharton School identifies a growing divide inside organizations between managers using AI to clear their schedules for better thinking versus those using it to avoid thinking entirely. When leaders use automation to avoid messy, time-consuming human interactions, they are actively dismantling the precise metric that keeps their people engaged. Organizations desperately need a new kind of leadership literacy, designed specifically for environments where decisions are augmented by software. This literacy requires the judgment to recognize exactly when a mathematical recommendation should be sidelined to protect the functional and ethical quality of a human decision. The World Economic Forum projects that by 2030, social influence and complex coordination will be among the most highly valued skills on the market. However, they also warn that standard corporate training misses the mark. Most development programs continue to teach mechanical process management, entirely ignoring the relational skills required to navigate a team through uncertainty. As the administrative tasks of management become fully automated, the ability to coordinate complex, nuanced human emotion will transition from a nice-to-have soft skill into a company's rarest asset. Ultimately, there is a set of structural responsibilities that belong exclusively to humans. These are the burdens you cannot hand off to a mathematical model. It means bearing the moral weight of a choice that impacts a person's livelihood. It is the intuition required to recognize a team member's silent burnout before it shows up in a data dashboard. And it is the grit to hold a group together during genuine, unmapped ambiguity. Former Harvard researcher Bill George argues that the rise of automation makes raw, authentic human leadership more critical than at any point in modern business. George observes that some managers treat automation as a defensive shield to avoid their teams, while the most effective ones use it to clear their schedules for the high-stakes human interactions no system can replicate. Trust cannot be delegated, and it certainly cannot be optimized on a dashboard. The question you have to ask yourself isn't how you can use software to be a more efficient manager. The question is what irreplaceable human presence you can bring to your team that a machine never will.